We're broadcasting our podcast. We have a very special guest today.
We do. We have our
Khaled.
first guest.
Khaled, can you introduce yourself?
Yeah, hello guys. I am Khaled from Egypt. I am a doctor. I have PhD in physics, and I am working in Korea in nuclear engineering. And I am really happy to have such meeting with you. And I wish we can have some nice talking. So
Yeah.
let's start.
So Khaled, how long have you and I known each other? Almost a decade, right?
It's around 10 years.
Yeah. Can you describe the first meeting that we have? Because I think that it's so in line with what I'm trying to do here, with this podcast.
Yeah. I remember that day I was living in Daniel, our American friend. He was a professor in my university. So I was like his roommate.
Yeah.
And Isaiah, you know Daniel since long time before me.
Yeah,
and
long time.
So we came to our house and we had some card game. And Isaiah was so professional in some tricks. So that was our first time to meet. And it was really nice since that time. And Isaiah and me, and really friend. And it's my pleasure really to know Isaiah.
Listen to this one. So I was not like a Christian at the time, but I was a member of a group that allows like different people to stay with you from different countries for like free. So I had a couple with me from Finland, and they were atheists, and I had a guy staying with me from Israel, and so he was a Jew. And incidentally, later on, I went to Finland and Israel and stayed with both of them. But I had a party, and at this party, we had a Muslim, a Jew, an atheist, a Catholic, and a Buddhist sitting down and playing cards together. What do you think about that, Rob?
It's like the premise of one of those terrible jokes.
I know, racist jokes.
Yeah,
No, we had a great time.
Yeah,
And Khaled, this is just so you know, like what we're doing here is we're trying to find some kind of common ground between what we believe in and maybe trying to clearly define what we believe in, because I got to tell you, I think I know some things about Islam, but I don't really, I can't say I know too much. So maybe having you answer some of the questions that we have can really just help, to keep people informed. And that way we see at the end of the day, we're not too different from each other.
You're Muslim, right?
Yeah.
And are you Arabic?
Yes, my native language is Arabic.
Yeah.
You're from Egypt.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'm from Egypt. Yeah.
Right. Obviously, you're not from Saudi Arabia. Basically, it's we have a kind of an issue with racism here in the United States. And I just wanted to know, like, you went to Korea, right? To South Korea.
Yeah.
Did you move there from? You moved there from Egypt, right?
Yeah, that's right.
Okay. And what brought you to South Korea exactly?
You mean why did I choose South Korea to move?
Yeah.
Honestly, it was just by luck. I didn't choose South Korea at the beginning of my, you can say, scientific PhD journey. I can say that. At 2010, I want to have PhD. And at this time, I was married. And my wife, she got a scholarship in Korea. And I got scholarship in Ukraine for PhD.
Okay.
So, because she really want to come to Korea, she was watching a lot of Korean drama and she loved Korea. I was not interested, honestly, at the beginning. So I just followed my wife. I canceled my PhD in Ukraine, and then I came to Korea. And since this time, Korea is like my country, actually. I have been here like 10 years. I went to Egypt only during these 10 years, maybe for less than 5 months. So I have been here like really 10 years. I stay in Korea 10 years of my life. It's like 30% of my life in Korea. So this is a long time. This is a long time. And since I have been in Korea, I have no problem actually. 10 years in Korea, I haven't seen any racist action against me. I don't know why. Some people are suffering from that, but for myself, everyone is really friendly with me. My professor, my lab mate, even in my company, I am the only foreigner in my company, and I cannot speak Korean very well. I can just basic Korean, but not language that can help you to say some story, to talk, to argue, nothing like that. And it's okay. It's going well. I have been 4 years in company. It's going very well. Everyone like me. I really like everyone there. My work is going well. No one suffer. No one say he cannot speak Korean. Sometimes they say you have to study Korean, but actually it's for them it's okay because basically I am an engineer, so they don't need a lot of talks. We just design, drawing, and this language everyone know. You don't need a specific language to let someone understand your design. It's just engineering drawing, you know. So it's going well until now. It's okay.
Well, good. Good.
Khaled, I got a question for you. Are you Sunni or Shiite Muslim?
No, I am Sunni.
Sunni, okay.
I am Sunni.
And I don't know. I've heard specifically that the biggest difference between the two is that they trace the lineage from like back to Muhammad to his first successor. Like there was an offshoot there, right?
Yeah.
But what would you say is like the biggest difference between the two, apart from that, just in practice?
Okay. Actually, Shia, Sunni, you can say that Sunni are one part of Muslim. But Shia, they are different parts. Some of them are very close to Sunni in their ideology, in their idea, in their religion. The religion is same. Same religion exactly. But they have different ideology. What does I mean? What do I mean? For example, Sunni Muslim, we are respecting everyone from Muhammad family. We really respect them. We really love them. But in some Shia, not all of them, in some of them, they don't only respect Muhammad family, they worship Muhammad family. They worship them like gods. I am seriously saying. Like, for example, Iranian and some Iraq, we call them Ithna Ashri. Ithna Ashri, the 12 descenders. They are thinking that there is a 12 descender of Muhammad. And one of them, the last one, the number 12, he should be the last imam. He should be the last king or caliph for Muslim, you know. And actually, this guy, he already passed away like 600 years or 700 years ago. And they did make some stories that this guy is hiding in a mountain. I mean, this kind of thing, it's like, for me, it's like science fiction, actually. It's very, very, very trivial ideas about religion of Islam. So the difference between some of Shia and Sunni are really huge, are so huge that we are literally have different religion, but we are practicing same thing. I mean, in praying, we are practicing same praying. We are reading same Quran, but in their mind, they have different idea about Muhammad family. We respect them, we love them, but we don't worship them. That's all. Very simple, you know? You know, honestly, sometimes I feel, I don't know who started this kind of idea in Islamic society. I mean, Sunni Muslim, we are exactly following Muhammad, exactly. We are not doing anything new. We don't create something new in the religion. We just take it basically, okay, from his understanding directly to us as a Muslim. But for Shia, you can't, for some of them, I am not talking about all of them, some of them, they are really have something wrong in the thinking. They always curse. For the first time for me to meet Shia in my life, we don't have Shia in Egypt. All of them are Sunni. The first time of my meeting with a Shia in Islam at morning, each morning and evening, we are saying some kind of pray. You know, some like Christian, we pray at morning, something like that, at early morning. And when I have seen this guy, he was my friend. And then I saw his praying, and also I have read what he is reading during his praying. He should say some kind of word, you know.
Mm-hmm.
The whole word is just cursing.
Really?
I'm serious. Cursing Omar, cursing Abu Bakr, cursing Usman, cursing the one who doesn't curse them, cursing the one that doesn't think to curse them, cursing the animals, that anything, cursing. Unbelievable. I was surprised, really. This is my first time to meet this kind of mind. I haven't seen
Mm-hmm.
that in my life. I know about them, but I didn't see them in action, you know?
Right.
So when I saw that, I was really surprised. What kind of religion is this? In our religion, we don't curse anyone. In Islam, the original Islam, we don't curse anyone. We don't curse anyone who is not Muslim. We don't curse anyone who is even fighting us. We don't curse anyone, because cursing in Islam, it means you are totally have no mercy from God. God have totally kicked you out of his mercy. So it means a huge thing for human. If you curse
Mm-hmm.
someone, it's really big something. It's not something simple. No, you are just asking God to take him out of his mercy. You cannot do that. It's not in your hand. It's hand of God, of course, as I believe. And so the gap actually between Sunni and Shia are really large. Even we are same Muslim, but
Mm-hmm.
they have different idea. If we don't curse like them, so we are, you know, like this American, this English word. If you are not with us, you are against us. It is
Right.
same exactly. If you
I
are not
see.
with us, you are against us. Even I don't want to curse. No, you have to. So if I don't curse, so you are our enemy. So this is the mind.
Right.
This is really big difference between us. And that's
Rob,
why
you got
actually
it.
Shia and Sunni have troubles. Even in history, they have a lot of troubles. In Baghdad, in Iraq, the places where
Right.
they were living with each other, you always have kind of trouble. And that's what actually enemy of Muslims have taken this as an advantage, because they cannot penetrate the society easily. But okay, we can you know, divide and conquer. This is the idea
Right. Right.
that we have actually.
Hi, Khaled.
Yeah.
You know, as someone who's basically an atheist, but you know, raised in a Christian society, I find myself as sort of an insider, but with a sort of an outside view. And you know, my perception of a lot of people who follow, you know, who claim to be devout Christians, it doesn't seem to me that there's really this pervasive need to understand the history of Christianity, or the history of basically how it came about, how it emerged and rose in the world, basically, as a religion. And I wonder, you as you know, a Muslim, what your perception is of, you know, people of your faith. Do you think there's a big you know, a big ideology to understand the history of the religion itself, not just like the you know, the sacred texts and
I
all
understand.
that
I understand you.
Okay.
I understand you. Yeah. Okay. So let's say something. Islam is different from other religion. We have actually seen basics in Islam, Christianity, and Jew. We are, as a Muslim, I am considering myself as an extension for Christianity and Jewish. We are not separated from them. As a Muslim, in my mind, I have to believe in all messengers. Okay. So in Islam, actually, Islam history, it didn't start as in my mind. It didn't start by Muhammad. Actually, it start further earlier, much more earlier than Muhammad, actually. It's like maybe 10,000 years or 20,000 years before Muhammad. Since Noah and Adam by himself, we consider Adam the first human that came to the earth. We consider him as a Muslim as well. And we consider Noah as a Muslim. Islam, what does it mean, Islam? Islam, it means, what in English?
Submission to God?
Submission, yes, submission, exactly. Islam is just submission. Submission to God. Submission to God will, to God power. So the religion history for me, it didn't start with Muhammad. It started much more earlier than Muhammad. And all Muslims same. All Muslims are same. All Muslims that they believe in Islam, even Shia, we are believing in the same way. We are, so for us, Islam is not 1,400 years is not the life of Islam. Islam have started since Adam have came to the earth. That's much earlier than Islam. So this is our believing in Islam. And as a Muslim, I respect all kind of religion. In Islam, you have to respect even man-made religion. For example, Buddhism, Hinduism, any kind of religion, you have to respect it. Because that's what we asked to do. Very simple. God asked us to respect all human with any other belief. So that's what he asked us. So I'm just doing that. I'm just obeying him. This is Islam meaning, you know?
I got a follow-up question. What religion would you say Islam is more closely aligned with? Either Judaism or Christianity? And I've heard it said that like it's either Jews or Muslims. Like if they could invite a Christian or someone from the other religion, like either a Muslim or a Jew, that they wouldn't invite the Christian because they believe that Christians believe in polytheism because we believe in the Trinity. Have you heard of that before?
I understand that, but okay, for the closest religion to Islam is Judaism.
Okay.
It's the closest religion to Islam. Because in Judaism, they are believing in one God, same like us.
Okay.
And when you read the Old Bible, it is exactly very similar to Quran, actually. Very, very similar, as if they have one source. But they are different. They are same. Because, you know, when you ask good morals, it is same everywhere. Even in Buddhism, you can find good morals. Same. Nothing different. No difference between them. So Judaism for us is much closer than Christianity. But as a Muslim, I can have relation with Judaism and with Christian, no problem for that. I can invite them to my house. I can eat with them. I can eat from their food, and they can eat from my food. In Quran, it's described literally like that. We can have relation with them. We can marry from them. You know, all kind of life is okay. All activities that we can have in normal life is okay with them. There is no problem.
So if you could say, what is the biggest difference between Islam and Judaism, and one of the biggest differences between Islam and Christianity? I think you already said that the monotheism, maybe that's the biggest one for Christianity, but what would be the biggest difference for Judaism?
Okay, in Judaism, in Islam, we are not racist. Very simple, that's all. In Judaism, they are racist. They are racism. They have racism in their mind. They think that they are the chosen race, you know. They are son of Abraham. They are son of messengers. So they have the hierarchy, the high hierarchy in society than any other human being. And so that's why actually Judaism, we don't have a lot of Jews in the earth. On the earth, we just have very few, like few millions. I mean, they are not 2 billion like Muslim or 2 billion like Christian or 1.5 billion like Buddhism or blah blah blah. But why? Because they think that this religion is only specific for them. It's not a specific for. But in Islam, I have to ask anyone for Islam, even those people that are living in forests, very primitive human, those people that are living in New York, those people that are living in underground, no problem. All humans are equal in Islam.
Right.
Black, white, colored, non-colored, all these people are equal, exactly equal. No one is higher than other one. Only by his faith and good deeds. That is the only difference in Islam.
And you know,
this is
Khaled,
Islam actually.
This is one of the things that really annoys me, that a lot of people just believe that like it's just Arabs who are Muslims. But like I went into Kosovo, and
Arabs?
if you go there, it's prominently a Muslim country, and all the people there are white. It was so awkward, like for me to go into a mosque and see just a bunch of Caucasian people with blue eyes and blonde hair. They were in a mosque, and one country, which is Indonesia, like the biggest Muslim country in the world, is in
exactly.
Asia. It's Indonesia. And in that one country, there's almost as many Muslims in that one country than there is in the whole Middle East. Because there's almost 200 million Muslims in one, and they're all Asian. So, there's, I think in, some of those countries, you have 40, 50 million people, and most of them are Muslims. But, like, and also people assume also too that people like from Turkey, that they, even though they're 99% Muslim, it's a different language. They don't even, a lot of them don't even understand Arabic. They have their readings in their own language. And, same thing like with Iran. It's not like it's culturally, even Iranian people are very different culturally than some of the other countries that they're right next to. Right?
Yeah, that's right. Actually, Arabs and Muslims are very small ratio of Muslims. Actually, it's like we are as Arab about 300 million Arabs, but it's Muslims almost like 1.8, 1.9 billion. So it means they are very small ratio of Muslims. So
right.
Most of Muslims are not Arabic actually.
Right. Of course.
Arabs. They cannot understand Arabic language.
Right.
But they are Muslim. They are still Muslim. They believe in one God. They are following Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and so they are just Muslim. That's all. Actually, Islam is a huge religion. It's extremely powerful religion.
Right.
Extremely powerful religion. Why Muslims are really Muslim? It's very hard to change Muslim beliefs. Why? Because it's very simple. It's your internal spirit absorb Islam. Absorb it. It's very logic to your mind. And it makes you have such kind of peaceful internal thinking. You are believing in a God. You know that after you die, there will be another life. If you do something wrong, you will be punished from God. Mm-hmm. Even if someone doesn't see you while you are doing something wrong, God can see you. Look to this kind of lifestyle. Imagine you are living this kind. You are always trying to be a good at front of God eye.
Mm-hmm.
So this is really good, and also the pure idea of one God is very clear in mind. I don't need a physicist to make me understand it. Just one God. Very simple. Just one God. Really, just one God. No eternity, no Son of God, no blah, blah, blah. All this kind of ideas that I consider it as a fake, we don't have it. Very simple. Just one God, and it's all. Very simple. And actually, it's very logic. Why I should need more gods? The whole universe are following same rules everywhere. On Earth, on Mars, on Sun, another galaxy. We are just having the same. We are just using the same physical law, and everything is same. So it's very simple for us. That's why Muslims are everywhere, and they are increasing and they will increase more, and Islam will exist until the end of this life.
This notion of superiority, about which religion is more prone to superiority, because I know you'd probably agree that there are people who use Islam to justify their own notions of superiority, and I just want to know where do you think that comes from exactly? Like, if it's not coming from Islam, then is it coming from something else? Yeah.
Yes. Actually, it just comes from ignorance.
Right.
That's all. Just ignorance about Islam. You know, in Islam, I just want to show, even with the one who are you fighting, you know, who are you fighting? You are having a fight with, not someone who is living in peaceful life, not civilian who are just not aware with anything, you know. They are just, and slacking, not in following up the enemy. If you are suffering hardships, they are suffering similar hardships, but you have hope from Allah, from God. Why they have none? Okay, it means that if you are fighting someone, you have to take care of him, of his paining, you know, because if you feel pain, he is feeling pain the same like you, but you are asking from God what they don't do. This is in Quran. So imagine in Quran, someone you are fighting face to face with a weapon, fire, disaster, you know, people are dying everywhere around you. But even at this moment, you have to show mercy for your enemy.
That is
okay. So ignorance is the only answer. Why some Muslims are doing bad things? I studied Islam very, very well. I am actually graduated from Islamic University in Egypt, Al Azhar. It is the oldest university in the whole world, actually, more than 1,000 years, 1,100 years. So I know Islam very well. When you are a real Muslim, you don't feel bad for others. You don't feel you want to hurt others. You wanna, you know, the feeling that you have is like gathering everyone in love and harmony with each other. This is, I have never think, for example, to hurt someone or do something bad or attack someone or, you know, explosion or this kind of trivial things that they are doing. But some people are really ignorant, and that's why they are doing bad things. And those people are very, 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 very small ratio of Muslim. They are not even 0.00001%. But you know, media always multiply something like that.
Right.
They are magnifying it. You know,
under
microscope.
So I had an experience, Khaled. I went into Palestine and I stayed at a mosque for a week. And I got to tell you, like, as a Christian, and I wasn't a Christian at the time, but as a Christian now, I'm so embarrassed because these people were the nicest, most gentle, humble, hospitable people I have ever met in my life. They were so gentle, and the way that they treated me and the way that they treated each other, it was mind-boggling to me. So I have met Muslims from probably around a dozen countries, in a dozen countries. And I've met hundreds of them. Like I've never met like a bad, you know, Muslim myself. But the question is, I do have to you is everybody, as you said, they're ignorant or they're making up their own, you know, they're making up their own ideas about religion. Something, but
their own religion. Yeah.
But why is it that Islam specifically is more prone to extremists? Like, you rarely hear, or I was going to say, like, when is the last time you ever heard of like a Scientology person going up and suicide bombing themselves? Or when was the last time you ever heard of like an Amish person doing like that? What is it? Is there something about Islam or the text that make it more prone to people misinterpreting?
Of course, Islam, afterlife. Those people are thinking in afterlife. First of all, you have to understand their mind. Okay? You have to understand the roots for this kind of extremist idea, where it comes from. Before 1960, 1970, there was nothing called Islamic terrorist. Nothing. Nothing at all. Where it starts? Where this idea starts? Where did it start? It started actually in Egypt. Behind the prison wall. Behind prison walls, there was some normal people, normal believer, you know, just very normal, like any human, like any Muslim. No one of them have any idea, or he had an idea in his mind to hurt others or something like that. Nothing. But when they went to the prison, because of the government of Egypt at this time, it was led by Nasser since 1952 until 1970. This guy, he had created the terrorism inside his jail, inside his prison. Because of the way they treated these people. These people did nothing for the nation. They did nothing bad for people. But because they are just Muslims, they just want to practice Islam normally. These people were behaved with the most extreme hard way you can imagine in a prison. Unbelievable. So that's when the idea of terrorists started. It started behind the jail walls. It started at the darkness of jail, under hand of some stupid human. This human also Egyptian and Muslim, by the way. And that was the nucleus that makes such kind of all terrorists around the world now. That you can see. Oh, Bin Laden and others, I don't remember the name. All these were just graduated behind jail walls. This is very simple. It's not related to Islam. Before, go to newspaper before 1970 or 1980, 1990, you will never find anything called Islamic terrorism. Nothing. It is just suddenly appeared after 1,400 years of Islam. Suddenly, Islam become terrorist. Suddenly, I mean, Muslims were living in Christian country, no problem. Everything was perfect. Nothing, no problem. But suddenly, terrorist appeared from nothing. Where it started, I know where it started. It started in Egypt. Behind jail, those people were really behaved very well. They were treated very bad. And that's what makes them change their mind. They are thinking now, when they got out from the prison, they were thinking that this society, which is Islamic society, are not Muslims. They are not Muslim. And we have to fight them, and we have but we are really Muslim, you know. Actually, Muslims are suffering much more from terrorism. We are suffering much more from them. We are not, Western or other countries, they are not suffering like us. We are suffering much more. First of all, we got bad image from other nation about Islam. Because of those people. But why? I'm telling you, because of us. Because some stupid people in our countries, some dictatorships that make such kind of things. But if you go deep to the bottom of this situation, you will find actually those dictatorship, who gave them the power? Who gave them such kind of power in their nation? Find it. You know, who gave the dictatorship power? Who is supporting Nasser? USSR. Who was supporting Gaddafi? I don't know, maybe France or some other. Who was supporting the Iranian, what's his name? Khomeini. Who was supporting Khomeini? France. Who was supporting those stupid people? Just some other democratic countries. They create democracy for their nation, but they prohibit it from those people at Middle East and another Islamic country. That's what it's terrorism. This is the root, actually. You can just go to the bottom of this situation. Before 1990 or even 2000 or something, there was nothing called Islamic terrorist. It just appeared suddenly to the existence. So for 1,400 years, Muslims were okay, and suddenly all of them become terrorists. It's not logic.
Yeah. My opinion on the topic is that a lot of the Middle Eastern terrorism that you saw was very strongly influenced by imperialistic manners, in an imperialistic way, because
proxy wars.
Yeah, if you take a look at like the story of Lawrence of Arabia, and you take a look at how the British came in and they carved up certain areas, like for instance, very specifically, if you take a look at the Iraq and Kuwait, they basically carved out almost all of their sea access. So it's like a similar way in what the colonial forces did in Africa, which is like, if you take a look at Rwanda, and they split it up and giving one ethnic group power over the other ethnic group. Like, there's just lots of ways, as you're talking about, kind of like dividing and conquer, that they were influenced by a lot of outside forces. So Rob, you want to add to that, or you got a question?
I think it just boils down to two things. It's, people who are reacting to being manipulated, or just people being manipulated by global powers, basically engaging in proxy wars.
Right.
And a lot of propaganda is spread that it's not to, avoid the perception that it is about the proxy wars, that it's about the religion.
Right. That's good.
I don't know if you know this, Khaled, but I say it has been warning me that you mean to convert me.
Well, Khaled, you're a physicist, so
I am a scientist.
You're a physicist, so how do you see the creation of the world from nothing, from a physicist standpoint? Like, how does physics factor into Islam, would you say?
Well, actually, Islam have described the beginning of the universe. It described it very clearly. He started the universe from nothing, and just the idea of that he started the universe, it means that the universe has a lifetime. That idea was in Quran very clearly, and the people are reading it all the day, So first of all, Islam, the core of Islam is the unity of God, one God. And this God, look to this mind, look to this idea, about God as a Muslim. Any Muslim, by the way, any simple Muslim you meet in the street. No, he doesn't need physics, he doesn't need any kind of science, but he just needs to understand his religion. God, he is beyond time. He is above all, not physically. He is overwhelming everything. He started everything from nothing. He has the control for everything. He created this universe with justice. It is in Quran. He said that directly. We have created the universe with justice. What does it mean, justice? Justice, it means equation. Equation, you have right-hand side, you have left-hand side. Both of them, if they are equal, they will never be unequal, because they are equal at the beginning. Because math is just, the core of math is justice. Justice, it means something is not more than other. Something is not overwhelming something else. Justice, it means 1 + 1 = 2. This is justice, So it's the Islamic idea of God, it's very simple. And it's also very scientific. First of all, as a physicist, if at my office, in my room, I can just write some equation, and this equation will be used anywhere in the universe. If you moved outside the Earth to another galaxy, you still need these equations that we have created on Earth. It means that physical law are united. They have only one thing everywhere. They have one meaning. They can work everywhere without any problem. So it means that the whole universe have same law, have same behavior, have same reactions. It means that they are following one thing. The creator for all these things should be one, because they all are behaving same. This is very simple, you know. Second of all, the start of universe. You cannot say such wonderful thing, which is the universe. It's wonderful. It's huge. It's extremely organized. It's created from an explosion. An explosion. Do you know what does mean explosion? Very extremely random process that have produced such wonderful, such beautiful, organized thing that we call the universe. And actually, the most interesting thing in the story is us, human. Mm-hmm. We are human and extremely complicated machines. Each one of us, he is extremely complicated machine. And this machine, inside it, it has extremely complicated machines. They are machines. We have extremely complicated electronic system in our mind, in our brain. Right. Oh, this system, you are talking about system, intelligent design for everything, starting from one cell to a human. I am now just talking to you. I'm using my body naturally. I don't know how many cells I'm using now to talk to you. I don't calculate how much power I need to convert my emotion to talking. I don't know that. I am just using it. Mm-hmm. And it just comes to easy use, you know. We are just end user for the body as a human. We are just end user. We are using it efficiently without any problem. But we don't know anything about it. You don't need to know medicine to use your body perfect. Actually, most doctors are fat. They are not perfectly, you know, most of them. So it means that, but most of ignorant people, they have very good bodybuilding and beautiful. But, you know, we are still using our body efficiently. We don't need to study our body to use it. You know, even animals, they can still use your body without any problem. How can I explain such intelligence in the universe from nothing? The universe, there is something called entropy. Entropy, it means it is a measure for random of the system, for the system random. How much random? The system is random. It's called entropy. And this entropy always increase. Always increase. What does it mean? It says that universe naturally try to be random system. It's now very organized, but it's naturally trying to be random. So the universe itself try to be random. It try to destroy any system. Inside the universe itself try to destroy itself because it doesn't like the system. The system costs energy. System make it hard, but the universe is very lazy. And actually, this is what Einstein said. The universe is very lazy. So how can this universe, which is extremely random, he like random, but the system, it still have system, and we are here, we are studying this system, and we talk, we argue, we fight from nothing. Is this from nothing? How can you explain for me the complexity of our body? How can you explain for me our intelligence, our conscious? Where is this conscious comes from? We are not material. Actually, I am using the material. I am just user. I am using my body. This is my body, but it's not me. I am not this body. I am something inside the body. Like You know, like this conscious, I consider it like an energy, intelligent energy, which we control our body actually. So where is this comes from? Where it comes from? If you say the universe, the development and Darwin theory and this kind of thing, it's for me it's trivial. It's impossible.
Where does the system come from? Okay, so all right, so I don't know if I really have an answer to that or not, but I have like let's get back to I just wanted to talk more about what you said about the universe was created with justice, right?
Yes.
When God created the universe, he created with justice, and the way you describe justice sounds something you described it as an equality.
Yes, exactly. Equation.
And right, and and it kind of sounded like you were saying, okay, well, this basically justice is the law of conservation, right? Yeah. The law of conservation of energy. Yeah. And I feel like when most people think of justice, it's more like equity, right?
Yes.
Like people's lives are there's equity in human life, in relationships, in society, and and this, I guess this is going to start sounding like the problem of evil, right? Because I want to argue that there really is no such thing as justice. Justice is something that we've come up with to try to figure out how to better live with each other. It's basically one of our evolutionary processes of society. Another thing I guess I would talk about also is that talked about, and I probably hear this a lot, that complexity requires design. And I'm really not sure that's true. It seems like to me that if you look at the universe the way it is, as big as it is, as infinite as it is, and you did talk about entropy, but entropy does have these caveats to it, right? Mm-hmm. I'm sure that if you exploded some C4 and you like freeze framed it and looked really, really close, you would find some complexity in there, And I kind of see the universe as basically that it's as you said, an explosion. Yeah. An explosion that's in the midst of entropy, but in that midst of entropy, there's this arising of complexity. As as much time as the universe has to do all this stuff, it just doesn't seem to me like there really requires any design. In fact, I also might disagree that when you look at the human body, that it is some sort of teleological endpoint. The studies of evolution and stuff like that, you realize that it's mostly failures. It's not mostly successes. We haven't come to some designed endpoint where we're the result of failures and failures and failures, trials and errors. I guess I'm just not convinced on that point. Go ahead. Like maybe you have another question. Do you I think I
don't have any question actually. I can take all questions.
Okay, that's fine. I
already have all answers for that.
I have plenty of questions too. Because I don't really know. I personally don't really know.
Yeah.
I personally don't.
I got
really
another
know
question.
People of Islam and
go ahead.
Okay, so this is a more practical question right here. It's not really philosophical, but why don't Muslims eat pigs?
I mean, do Muslims?
You've never had a BLT or bacon or
I'm sure you must know some Muslims that actually eat pork. I'm sure you do.
Khaled?
I don't eat pork, but I want to hear you, Isaiah. I want to hear your point. Why we don't eat pork as a Muslim? Because God told us don't eat pork. That's all. Very simple.
I have a friend, and he's a Muslim, and he's from the UK, and his name is Aminor. And I said, Aminor, why don't you eat pigs as a Muslim? And he said, well, pigs are basically the only animals that you can like harvest like bells from for like your heart. And he says, so he goes, if you think about it, it's kind of like cannibalism.
Yeah.
I wasn't very impressed with that. I thought it was funny.
I heard the story about the Donner Party, the famous expedition that got stranded up in the California mountains, and they ended up eating each other basically to survive.
Yeah.
And the survivors basically talked about how it tastes, and they said it kind of tastes like pork.
Yeah.
Wow. All right, so let's see. I got another question for you, Khaled. Who is Jesus in Islam, and do you believe it's possible that God could come down and take human form?
So actually, the idea of Christianity, as I understood from my studies, that at all the time, Jewish people are using to have some kind of sacrificing, blood sacrificing, sheep or cow or whatever, to make some kind of forgiveness for their sins. And so, of course, because we have a lot of people nowadays, we need a huge sacrifice, and that sacrifice was Son of God, Jesus. We need the blood to forgive our sins. But honestly, when I'm thinking, don't be angry with me, but this is the most stupid idea I have ever seen. Why God wanna forgive us by killing himself? I just wanna know. Seriously. If God wanna forgive us, he can with his finger, he can just say, I forgive you. That's all. Why he need to do such kind of theater action movie or science fiction movie to make us non-sinners? What is the logic behind? And what will happen to the people that didn't know about Jesus, that they don't believe about Jesus? As a Muslim, for me, I am extremely respecting and loving Jesus. You have no idea how much I love this person. He exists, and I know that he existed. I know that very, very well.
It's a great story, though, right?
It was not a fake story. No, it's not a fake.
No, not fake. It's a great story.
You know why? Because we have Muhammad. And Muhammad, actually, he is from Abraham family. And he was a messenger. And Muhammad, he is there in Saudi Arabia. Muhammad body is still there in Saudi Arabia. His tomb, his grave is still there. And also, some messengers in the Old Bible are there also in Palestine and in Egypt and this area, Middle East area. So those people really existed. Jesus really existed. And I totally believe and love him. I believe that he's a great messenger. He is a great messenger from God. Just a human being that came to earth to tell us what God wants us to do. He's just a messenger. That's all. He's a very simple guy, just a messenger. He was totally perfect person. He is really good guy. And the Jews didn't kill him. That's our belief. He was not killed by Jew at that time. He is still alive. Until now, he is still alive. Somewhere. I don't know where. This is our believing. Okay, and he will come back to the earth one day. But he was not God or Son of God, because no need for that. God doesn't need to kill himself or kill his son to forgive us. Why? He killed his son. He punished himself to please himself. This is totally non-logic. And this is the idea of God or Son of God started 300 years after Jesus. Before that, he was not a God or son of God. It started at Roma, in
Nicaea
college, something like that, 300 years after Jesus. So before that time, he was just a messenger from God. So what happened? People were forced to believe that he is a God or son of God. People were forced, really. It's by force. It's not by natural. It's by force. Dictatorship government forced people to believe that he is a son of God.
My next question is, would it be possible for God to come down in human form? Is that a possibility?
I mean, of course,
this is impossible. He can't.
What?
Actually, God
can't?
can't do that. He can't do that.
Couldn't
because
God?
He doesn't. Okay, I will tell you why. Actually, God, he has his own frame of reference. He is beyond the time and beyond space. He cannot be controlled by space. He cannot be controlled by time. That's all. He is beyond this universe.
Yeah.
No need for
Khaled.
him. No need. What is the need? Why he need to do that? Why for us? Why? What is the need? What is the reason?
So Khaled, I'm going to explain this from a physics standpoint, because I think you might understand this a little bit better talking about physics. But if I had a 2D surface and the beings who lived on that surface, they did not know 3D, right? And so I came in and I touched it with my finger. What they would see about me would be a circle. And then depending on whether I'm taking my finger in or out of it, it might get bigger or smaller from their perspective, right? They might see a circle getting bigger or smaller. So if God is in a higher dimension, let's say 4D, and 4D would mean that there's an infinite number of 3D worlds stacked on top of each other, okay? So God comes in and he puts his finger inside of our country, inside of our dimension, then it would appear to be Jesus, but it would only be a mere, like maybe the tip of his pinky. So it's not that you're trapping all of God inside of a human form or for a certain time, is that he's imprinting a part of himself for a small amount of time. But Christians simply do not believe that God came down in his full form, in the form of Jesus Christ. If you think that about Christianity, your perception about Christianity is not right, because it says that he was fully man. So for being fully man, there's no way he could be fully God. So he had to empty himself, which would be, as I said, him pressing his finger down into our dimension.
Hey, Khaled, do you play video games?
Yes, I play video games, of course.
What if it was like God was playing a video game, and he had an avatar and he was just like playing it out with a sort of a cosmic video game console or something like that,
Okay. You know why? You know why God will not do that?
Why?
Because he is very arrogant, actually. He is very arrogant. He is above what you think. And he is extremely proud of himself. Why he do that? For whom? For us? For a human? Why? He gave us the most powerful intelligence at the earth. So we use this intelligence to know him very well. We don't need to see him. We don't that he will come to us and just talk and kill himself to please himself, or doing such kind of fake stuffs, as I believe say. But God, he is very high. He is very bright, man. He's extremely bright. He is God. Imagine this universe, huge universe, interesting and very complicated. Someone created such state-of-art thing. Do you think he will care about such tiny, small drop that are rotating around a small star in the huge universe to take care about this?
I think, if I may speak a little bit to the Christian perspective, because I think what you're saying makes sense, right? But I think what a Christian would say was that, well, if he is infinitely intelligent, much more greater than we could possibly be, but I think a Christian would say that his capacity to love is also that much greater, which is basically why he would do something like that, is because godly, infinite, greater than us, a love that's greater than a love that we could possibly imagine.
I just want to ask something. Why God suddenly he becomes merciful in the New Testament, in the Bible, but he was really bloody hell in the Old Testament. If you read Old Testament,
Well, Khaled,
imagine
Khaled.
if you go to the city, kill everyone, even donkeys, even animals, don't give them mercy, and with the sword side just cut their head. Why suddenly before 2000 he decides that he is so nice, so cute?
Khaled.
What happened to God?
Okay.
Did he love someone?
Well, obviously he had a kid. So having a kid,
oh yeah, I know how that is.
Yeah, it changed it. No, but no, on a serious note, first of all, to answer your question, well, in the Old Testament, the concept of hell doesn't exist, or at least how we imagine hell. So the fact that hell apparently exists from Jesus, you got to say, well, that sounds like a worse. He's actually gotten worse, So then you can also say, well, you still see tremendous amount of mercy on God's part. And for example, Abraham, when God called Abraham to come and create, the nation of Israel, as Abraham was walking through the area, God told him, he said, all of this area I'm going to give to you, but I can't give it to you right now because the people who are living here, their sin has not reached their full measure. So after they've reached the fullness of their sin, then yes, I'm going to come through and I'm going to slaughter them. God is merciful. He gives us opportunities. He gives us a conscience. We know right from wrong. Whether or not we're going to do that, whether or not we're going to serve him is another story. But I see mercy, I see grace all over the Old Testament as well. And I do want to say one more thing, is because you mentioned, why would God do something like that? Well, I'll tell you why. Think about this for a second. All right, let me ask you just two really quick questions and just answer yes or no, okay? You know how to play chess?
Yes, of course, I know play chess very well.
So if God got checkmated, or let's say God wouldn't get checkmated in chess, but let's say God took over my game, and as soon as he sat down, let's say you checkmated him, okay? Would God be able to win that chess game after he had been checkmated? Yes or no? Just yes or no?
God? This is a wrong question.
No, just answer. If God took over, if God got checkmated, would he be able to turn around and win the game in the next move?
If God got checkmated, he is not God, man.
Okay, so he took over my game.
You have to ask the right question.
Okay, so God got checkmated because he took over my game. Okay, we switched spots. So he gets checkmated. Would he be able to win in that circumstance? Okay, the answer is no. Okay, so could God make a triangle that had 50 sides in it?
Of course, God. Look, from your definition to God, he can do anything.
No, he can't.
He can do anything. No,
that's not true. That's not true.
Actually, look, as I told you, this is your definition. It's actually the physical law is just definition. Coulomb law and the Newton law and Einstein gravity law, it's all just definition, by the way. Just definition. We don't know exactly what is electron. We don't know what is proton. We don't know what is gravity. We don't know it yet. We are just have some imagination about it. Okay, we don't know the reality of this kind of things. We don't know. We are very good user for these things, but we don't know what is the reality of it. He can make the world with different rules. He can play this game. He is God. He is the one that have written the code for this universe.
So let me ask: could God make something that's evil into something that's moral? Like, let's say, I don't know, think of the most evil thing you could possibly think of. Could
I
God
understand you.
could God
No.
decide that that's actually a moral thing to do and a good thing to do?
Find out justice, and you will find God there.
Gotcha.
Okay, God actually created everything. He created the good things. He created the bad things. He is the creator, you know. But bad things from which viewpoint? At your viewpoint as a human, okay. For example, as a human, if I see a lion killing a gazelle, this is for me. If I make it in a human level, someone strong killed someone weak because just he is strong and the other guy is weak. This is totally not fair, you know. But on big scale of life, you will find this is really a fair thing. Actually, sometimes you can find some minor actions looks very injustice, but at the big scale of the life, it's extremely justice. You know,
Yeah.
it's actually your definition is the problem, is the main
Okay.
point. You cannot define God will by your mind. You cannot define because firstly
Okay.
we don't have contact with him directly. We cannot talk to him directly.
Do you think it would just behoove us to just give up on the whole prospect of trying to define what morality is?
No. We have some solid definition for morality, and we have
But
that's what messengers told us to do. All messengers agreed very well about the justice idea in society, about
the
democracy.
messengers, you said?
You know? All
And that-
messengers,
And those are
all
the
messengers,
and those
all
are the
of them,
prophets, or
Prophets.
all of them,
okay.
all of them.
Uh,
Okay, all of them are really okay. Look, in Islam, for example, about the believing. Any human have the right to believe at anything he wants, and we cannot punish someone for his believing, and we cannot force someone to follow us, and we cannot take what is not ours. Okay,
Right.
justice actually the basic of the religion is extremely justice. That it's really beautiful, very very beautiful. It's totally compatible with your internal conscious. You feel it. It's like, ah, yes, it should be like that. Actually, it should be like that. In Islam, for example, if someone steal money, his hand should be cut. Okay, if in Islam, this is exist in Islam. But if you look at what does it mean if someone steal, for example, some money, we should cut his hand. Is this fair? Actually, you are looking from your viewpoint as someone that didn't have a problem of being stealed by someone. For example, if someone, for example, this money is his salary for the month, and without this money, he cannot live. He is giving money to his sick mother to help her to survive, or to his son or daughter that they need this money badly. So you are looking, we cut his hand, it's not fair. But actually, on the big scale, it's extremely fair, because by doing such kind of punishment, very, very powerful punishment to someone, you are totally prohibiting all other nation, all other people that are living under your control from doing such kind of thing, because it's really horrible. I'm going to steal some money and I'm going to lose my hand. Why should I do that? I'm going to work hard and save my hand. Very basic logic, So
Yeah.
even punishment in Islam, it's very fair. We don't punish someone to make him a special need person, or no, we don't do that. It's just to save the society itself from injustice people or from some bad people in the society. So we are totally controlling society, and we are making peaceful society, very harmonic society, So
Yeah.
actually, God and messengers are very fair. They told us really the exact things that we should do, and if we do it, we will really good. We will have really good life. We will have beautiful relationship between us. No problem, no war. But sooner or later, people have misunderstanding. That's why
Right.
people are fighting. It's just misunderstanding.
Well, and I'm sitting here thinking that it's in the big picture that it might be even difficult to figure out exactly why that money belongs to who. Why does a rich person even have money? You know, why does a person even have money? Did they get it justly? Did they get it? Do they make it on the backs of people who give up their livelihoods and their lives and their own justice to make other people rich? So I feel like when it comes to questions of morality like that, I feel like that the whole eye for an eye is just a little too cut and dry. You know what I'm saying? I mean, I feels like it's, if you really want to think more like God, you need to look as close to it as possible, and not just start lopping people's hands off, and thinking this is going to solve the problem.
And I don't know about you two, but I have definitely learned a lot during this conversation.
Yeah, this is good.
Really, thank you.
I enjoyed this.
I mean, I've thought about things
so
from a totally different perspective, so that's kind of like mind-boggling to me.
Yeah,
I just want to thank you because I think how we start to respect each other is to learn what each other actually thinks rather than imposing what we think that they think. So I think that's a good first step, and so I thank you on that. I do want to close off by saying I have a lot of respect for Muslims and love for them, and I admire the passion and the way in which you will abstain from things like smoking or eating pigs. Like that takes conviction, so I do respect that. But on the other side of that coin, I do think that the concept that you have about God as being so far removed as that he's not really concerned about what happens in your life, I think that's very, very wrong. Because the reason why I was asking you if there were things that God could and couldn't do is the ultimate thing that I was going to say was that God couldn't judge you. One thing he couldn't do is he couldn't judge you based on desires that he himself didn't have. So he would have had to have overcome the fleshly desire that Jesus Christ, which might have been to, let's say, commit fornication or to love his neighbor as himself. He needed to be the first person to give that as an example. And that's the reason why he would do something as insane, as crazy, as you say, for him to take on human form. So we have similar background, we have similar history, we have similar books in which we'll look to. But I do say that Jesus Christ has changed my life. I know if he could do it for me, he could do it for anyone. And this is my perspective, and I do appreciate you giving your perspective. So,
and I want to juxtapose to Asaya just for a minute and say that while I very much probably hold mostly Christian values, I kind of like your conception of God really more than the Christian conception, because if there was a God, it definitely would be something that not only that we couldn't comprehend whatsoever, but probably wouldn't have much consideration to us in our little tiny part of the universe, So
he considered us, by the way.
Right.
He considered us, but not so much.
Right.
Not so much. He considered us, but not so much. Actually, he said in Quran, he said, God doesn't care about you unless you pray to him and ask him to help you. Actually, God doesn't care, man. Seriously, he doesn't care.
Right.
He gave us the whole power that we need. There is no miracle in this life. There is no. We are the miracles of the life. Actually, we have everything we need to make our life much better. We have it. We don't need God in this point. We have it. We have our conscience. We have it. We have justice inside us. We have this kind of value inside us. We are born. It was coded in our DNA. We don't need God to show us such kind of things. And he actually really doesn't care. He said that directly. God doesn't care about you unless you pray to him and ask him for help. That's very simple. He is very arrogant, man. Very seriously. He is very high. He's extremely high.
All right.
He doesn't. Sorry. If someone created this universe, he can create trillion of Earths and much more developed creatures than us. You know, if someone with such intelligence, he can make trillion copies of human. Who cares about one Earth? One small asteroid can totally smash the Earth for small pieces. It's very easy for him. It's nothing. We are really nothing, man. Seriously, if you are God, if you think like that, if you created such a huge universe, such extremely complicated law and everything, very powerful, you can make anything you need. And someone at the end of the day, he can curse God, for example. Can you imagine? Someone can curse God, the one that created all the things. Who can do that? Only human, because we have free will. We have this gift, free will.
If you maybe you haven't quite converted me, but you have inspired me to learn more, and I will admit that I am, woefully ignorant when it comes to the religion of Islam, but I am extremely cynical of the typical American Christian perception of it.
All right, Khaled, we really want to thank you for your time, and thank you for enlightening us and our listeners. So
yes, thank you very much.
Thank you. It's my pleasure. Right. And I really hope to have such kind of meeting again. It's really good. And also we know and we learn from each other. We enlighten each other. So this is really beautiful thing. I will be happy to repeat it again later.
Great. Great. I'm looking forward to it. And thanks for listening to the RHE podcast. I'm Rob Shock.